In the bustling city of Downtonville, there was a pair of hamsters named Benny and Clyde. Benny was the brain, always plotting and scheming, while Clyde, with his tiny beret, was the charismatic talker. They lived in a cozy pet shop on Oak Street, where they had endless supplies of sunflower seeds and a friendly canary neighbor. One night, as the pet shop owner, Mr. Whiskers, fell asleep, Benny and Clyde hatched their craziest plan yet, a heist to steal the golden sunflower seed from the city bank, rumored to be the biggest seed ever known. "No hamster's ever done this before," Clyde exclaimed, his tiny eyes sparkling. "Exactly," Benny replied, adjusting his miniature glasses. "That's why it's perfect." Armed with a paperclip and a shoelace, they slipped through the tiny bars of their cage and made their way out of the pet shop. Their first challenge lay in crossing Oak Street without being spotted by the night guard, a grumpy cat named Mr. Fluffy. "Stick to the shadows," Benny whispered. Clyde nodded, using his beret's tiny brim to shield his face. They scurried across the street undetected, their small paws barely making a sound. At the bank, they faced the towering security fence. Benny used the paperclip to pick the lock. "Piece of cake," he muttered. But just as they slipped through, the alarm went off. "Run!" screamed Clyde. To their horror, they heard the sirens blare. They dashed into the bank and found themselves facing the massive vault door. "How do we open this?" Clyde asked, panic in his voice. Benny winked. "Leave it to me." Using the shoelace, he managed to tie a series of knots that surprisingly tricked the vault into opening. Inside, there it was, the golden sunflower seed, more magnificent than they'd imagined. As they grabbed it, they heard footsteps approaching. The security team, Mr. Fluffy, the night guard cat, had alerted them. Thinking quickly, Benny tossed the seed to Clyde. "Out the air vent," he shouted. Clyde nodded and scrambled through the air duct, seed in tow. Benny followed. Just as the security team burst into the vault, Benny and Clyde popped out of a vent on the roof, sliding down a drain pipe to safety. They fled back to their pet shop, hearts racing. As dawn broke, they sat in their cage, munching on the golden sunflower seed. Mr. Whiskers found them looking as innocent as ever. Their great heist? A hilarious, wild success, forever unknown to the citizens of Downtonville.